Good evening, everyone. It is October 25th, 2023. Sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place. This is after going to the gym, swimming, then going to the gym some more, so I'm tired. This is a chart of the ZB US Treasury bonds. I believe that makes it the 30 year. You will notice that we had a red session today. Not including what's currently happening right now, but this was a fat red session. This is a little bit interesting given that the world seems to be falling apart. Hamas and all this crap seems to be ongoing and escalating, yet bonds are unable to catch a bid. Now, I had drawn out this pretty little level here. Oh, maybe on TLT is where I drew it. There we go. Hit the level to pretty much the tick. This is a pretty big zone. It's pretty much been support from 2002 to 2007. It was the critical support zone, so I'm not too surprised that this is where we're getting some more initiation of bids or short covers or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's going to last. We're still not seeing any sort of capitulation out of the retail longs on this thing. And until we do, it just looks like it's going to keep heading lower. We'll see if we can get an update on that on Friday with the COT report, which would be based off of Tuesday's close, which is right around here. So when they were rallying into that little 10-day simple moving average. Anyway, that's what's happening on the TLT. Let's go over to the SPY. Like I said, yesterday, I believe, we were getting some weak, low volume cover sessions, and I was saying I think we're due for a third day with a leg down. I mentioned in the weekly outlook that I was saying I think this thing's going to be pretty rotational or sideways until GDP comes out. Well, we're pretty much just hanging out at Monday's lows. And GDP is going to come out tomorrow morning. As far as I understand, I think Meta reported today. I think. Looks like the earnings were decent. As far as after hours go, I think it crapped out. It did crap out. Fell down whatever that is, 5%, 3.5%. Amazon, I believe, is the only one left to report. Yep, that is going to be tomorrow after the close. We'll see what we get. This thing did not like trading after the close. That's like 1% or so. Yeah. So, and Google as well. It just took an absolute shit kicking today. I think that was a gap down. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a 7.5% gap down and continued selling just about 10% from yesterday's close. So, tech and all this stuff is getting quite the beating. Speaking of tech, let's see what the Qs look like on a higher picture chart here. We had what David Paul, the late David Paul, would call the surprise attack, which is that you have a green day followed by another green day, the second one closing above 80% of that day's range. So essentially you have longs who are trying to break this thing out, and instead the third day breaks the prior day's low. So today broke yesterday's low after a high close. This usually leads to about 2 days of selling, and so far we've gotten a great first day, and so you'd imagine the second day also sells. I'm watching kind of this level, 347-ish. Below there, this rally gets a little bit thin from the summer, or whatever this was, the spring, summer, April, May, June. Now, so that's the that's the SPY, that's the Qs. Going over to the Dow, still playing above Monday's low, still unable to run these lows. So the Dow actually being the most bid of all of the indices. The RTY, the Russell here, was gapping down. It actually gapped down today, was unable to trade above the open all day, whereas the Dow almost took out the previous day's high. I think I hit it to the tick. 332 and 70, 332 and 69 cents. So it came one tick shy of the high of the day, and then it spent pretty much the rest of the day trading above the prior day's low, 329.85 cents, 329 and 83 cents. So the Dow acting the most bid of all these things. The Russell or small craps continuing to crap out. The Dow staying bid above Monday's lows, trading mostly inside yesterday's range. The Qs being the ones crapping out the hardest, and the SPY following the Qs. So that is how this is being arranged right now. We have earnings. The last earnings will be tomorrow after hours on Thursday. And then, of course, pre-market will be having the GDP numbers. Now, ES right now, ES and NQ, I haven't looked at the other tickers, but this is a really big gap. Just throw on some 30-minute charts here. No indicators, nothing. This is a big gap for using the futures close and all that sort of stuff. 42-point gap down, 9 points on the ES, and not really getting any relief right now. Whether the Euros salvage this overnight, I'm not really sure what happens to this thing. I don't even know if I'm going to be trading tomorrow, to be quite honest. This is setting up for another waterfall phase, if you want to call it that. An external trading hours gap down with that gap not closing, that's a little bit unusual. Usually these external trading hour gaps, they close pretty quickly. Let's talk about a plan for tomorrow. I want to be short as long as we're staying below the weekly open. So 419 and 61 cents. That's about somewhere around 42.30-ish. Because I know this high is 42.32. And I know this low is 42.25 or so. So as long as we're staying below here, I think we can stay short. I would ideally like to see shorts engage off of the prior day's close to Monday's low. I doubt we're able to just initially keep it under the prior day's low. As far as downside targets go, yeah, sure, the -3 standard deviation of last week's VWAP, but really I think we're going to get into kind of this 414-ish area. After that, I would be cautious of some large bids, some large short covering appearing. NASDAQ, not too dissimilar. Where's my NASDAQ chart? There we go. Again, I want to be short as long as this thing is staying below the weekly open, kind of the initial balance lows around there. And ideally, I want to see us hold the prior day's close up to the prior month's low and that Monday low sort of area. Downside targets, again, I'm looking at kind of this area here, 348, 346, we'll see. Creating a plan and creating a plan ahead of GDP and with an extremely extremely bearish, shitty overnight session so far. It's I don't really have much to go off of here. Throw in some EMAs. It's staying below the little yellow line. I need some more clarity on this thing. So I'll post an update to this pre-market before the open, and hopefully we can get a better idea of this thing. I will personally be sitting out a period, the first 30 minutes, 9:30 to 10 a.m., and perhaps even the entire day. Anyway, hope that helps. Not really a ton of info on this, but hope that helps. Have a great night. Trade safe.